introduce our guest. We've got a fascinating guest joining us today.
I know, a little bit out of the norm for you and maybe our audience, but I think it's an important topic. So with us today is a dear friend of mine, psychic medium Rick Finbo. He is a lifelong intuitive, and he's really a psychic medium and has helped thousands of people find clarity, connection, and confidence. And he recently took up watercolor painting, which he's excited about too. And I wanted him on the show for a couple reasons. First of all, he has been incredibly helpful to me in helping me find my clarity and really gain confidence in my own intuition. And also, I wanted to talk about intuition and how those of us who are in our second and third acts, a lot of us tamped down our intuition because we were in a community, an industry, a business, a company that kind of frowned on that as being too woo-woo. And since I have found so much value, I mean, I wouldn't even have a business right now, I don't think, if it wasn't for tapping into my intuition and honestly some of Rick's guidance. So I think it's really important for us to, if we've tapped that way down, to bring it back up. And also, Rick always has fun things to share.
Thank you so much. I'm so grateful to be here. And with Mercury retrograde, so Mercury retrograde just means Mercury is the planet of communication. And it's different for everybody. It's not just a one planet fits all. So you have to look at where Mercury is in your natal chart, where it falls. It could fall in your house of communication. It could fall in your house of romance. It could fall in your house of abundance and finances. So it's different for everybody. But when it's known that Mercury goes retrograde, that means that the planet seems to be going backwards. It's not, but then it happens 3 times a year, at least 3 times a year, for about 2 weeks. And then they say there's a shadow before it and a shadow after it. So it's kind of like you can blame a lot of your problems on Mercury retrograde. So especially around communication, technology. They say not to sign contracts during it, but it really does depend on how it affects you. So this time, this Mercury retrograde happens to be in the house of Leo, which is going to be things that are going to show up around your ego. So if you have technology problems, like computer problems and things like that, it might be you need to let go of the ego around technology, like what you have going on there, Vivica.
Well, what I find is funny, what the audience doesn't know is this is our third attempt. So we did a really...
It's the first one I've been involved in, though.
Exactly. This is true. This is Steve's first. Well, actually our fourth, because I had the dates wrong for Friday.
Yeah, we had the dates wrong. So the reason that Vivica pitched you to me, and as Vivica quite rightly pointed out, I'm a bit of a skeptic about things of that nature. But I'm fascinated by the fact that, most of the psychics that have experience with myself kind of viewing in life deal with our personal lives, how our feelings are, our relationships with others, our wealth, but they don't deal with our business. They don't deal with talking about business. And the thing that fascinates me is you're a business coach. So you've blended the two. So I'm really curious as to how those two meld, and it really why you didn't follow the path more often worn by telling people when they're going to die or whatever, and instead brought us. Sorry, they don't do that. I don't know. It's a lot. It's like the fear of clowns. I have the fear of people who know things about me.
And it's good to be skeptical. I will tell you first off that I'm very skeptical. I don't go to just anyone. So when I do go to a psychic, which is very rare because usually I can feel into it myself, but it's hard to read for yourself. That's why people like myself are in business, because you're emotionally connected to your outcome. So even in business, you're emotionally attached to your outcome. So it's hard to see clearly. So I'm that person, like the third party on the outside looking in and saying, hey, why don't you look at this? I think this feels right for you. Does that feel right for you? And it's all about you and how it feels. So when I do go to a psychic, it's usually I go like when I'm traveling, because I'm pretty well known in the Colorado area. So if I'm traveling to Europe or something, I'll find somebody, I'll just feel into it, look at their picture, or if I get to meet them first, find out if that they're a good person for me to go to. I can tell, I can have a feeling like they call it like a spidey sense. When psychics work with the government and with the law enforcement, the law enforcement knows it as I had a spidey sense. That's how they interpret intuition. So it's just intuition, and they do say it's feminine. It's like women's intuition. We've all been brought up with that, but men have it too. Everybody has intuition and an inkling. It's like just a knowing, and also what I teach in my coaching, I call it magical life coaching, whether it's business or it's your romance, whether it's your life, whatever. The magic about it is that when you start to change your thinking, when you start to change your beliefs, things magically happen. Like all of a sudden, I had a coaching client recently say that her husband changed, and she said, "What did you do to him?" And I said, "Nothing. I don't even know. I didn't have he hasn't talked to me. He hasn't had a session." And she said, "Well, it's magical because he's changed. And the reason why that is because the relationship changed because she changed."
You're talking about our experience, or you're talking about the things that are already inside of us, and you're just basically opening yourself up to be more in touch with that, which then helps us to discover a little.
I was going to say, because Rick, in some of our readings, in our most recent reading, he's like, something is ending up for, is finishing in your life. And I was like, well, I finished my Women's Reset Collective. I'm sorry. And he's like, no, that's not it. And then, actually he came up with what it was, which I won't share. Alan and I are fine. It wasn't that. But like 2 days later, out of the blue, something happened which was completely aligned with what Rick had just said. And it was just like, wait, what? I mean, so yes, it's what's within us. And Rick is very good at reading what's within us already. But 100%, he has told me things that I did not see coming.
And that just kind of magically just happens. I don't focus on that. And I've been doing this for a long time. So I was a very sickly child. I took on other people's stuff. I was very emotionally, I took on people's diseases. I was diagnosed with asthma and emphysema at the age of 5 for no reason. At the age of 10, my grandfather passed away of asthma and emphysema. When I got to be in my teens, I learned I was taking on other people's stuff. And I learned how to ground myself and not do that. So I spent a lot of time. I had all the early childhood stuff. I had every disease like early. And I learned how to ground myself so I could kind of grow out of all that stuff. They call it, like the doctors said, I was allergic to everything. Grass, trees, fur, feathers, everything. It's like, I had to have allergy shots every day for the longest time when I was young. So they said, well, you might grow out of it. I grew out of it, but I also learned how to ground myself so I wasn't taking on everybody's stuff. So a lot of it has to do with you have a knowing or a sense things are happening. Like these days, I have a lot of people calling for a one-off psychic session saying, is my job okay? I work for the government and it's wonky and they're laying people off. Am I going to get laid off? I have a really good sense to be able to tell you whether or not you are going to be. And somewhere in you, when I tell you, it has that knowingness, like, I think you're right. I feel you're right. It's all about feeling. So it's not really a bunch of mumbo jumbo or something that's outside of ourselves. But like I said, it's definitely healthy to be skeptical. I wouldn't go to just anyone. I've been doing this for 45 years now. I'm going to be 65. And I lead a magical life. That's why I call my coaching magical life coaching. And I love entrepreneurs because I'm a serial entrepreneur. I've been able to do whatever I wanted to do in my life, but it always has been this reading part-time, full-time my whole life since I was 20. I started charging when I was 20. I bought my first tarot deck when I was 16, and I've created my own tarot deck now, the Eye of the Soul Tarot. It's been an amazing journey, and I love it. And I teach people how to really live a good life. Abundant, magical, and fun. This is fun for me.
Yeah. I think that's one of the things when you and I talk, that comes up again and again. Is it fun for you? And if it's not, why would you be doing
Yes.
it? You know, every time you try to force into something and it keeps pushing back, like, why is that? So, and I can't remember if it was you or another one of our guests who said, you know, we're given this, to your, using your words, this magical life, this divine impetus is my words. Like, why would the universe try and make it hard for us? And a lot of times when things are hard for us, it's stuff we've created ourselves. But that being said, for this audience, what are some things, if there are people listening and they're going, you know, first of all, I have the intuition of a stone, so this doesn't apply to me. Or, yeah, I used to be intuitive, but I lost it when I worked in corporate. Or are open, like, I'd love to know more about being intuitive and taking it to the level, maybe even amping up my psychic ability. Like, what are some things that people can do to tap into their intuition and bring it back up to the surface?
That's a great question. And for sure, the first thing is that grounding. So even if you look up what grounding is, they say get out, take your shoes and socks off, get out and just walk in the grass, be in the grass, grounding. You're grounding to the earth, okay? Things like that, simple things that don't cost money, things that are free, okay? It's like the best things in life are free, right? So it's like ground yourself. Sometimes people like gemstones, crystals. So I happen to be one of those people. I love crystals. So I go to the gem show every year and here's quartz crystal and that's for clarity. Yeah. See, so things, what it is it's a belief. And these things come from the earth. So it's like grounding. This is bumblebee jasper, which is really cool. This is in its natural form. And then here it is in a beautiful stone. Now this has properties of like self-awareness and being more clear on who you are. So a lot of that happens. And when you're in a corporate gig or you own your own business, a lot of times when they say, this is how I look at it. You've all heard this, love is blind, right? So when you fall in love, and then they say love is blind, because you can't really see clearly, because your emotions are all wrapped up around that love feeling, so you can't listen to your intuition. Intuition is feeling. So it's like, that's why they say love is blind, because you really can't usually see clearly. So intuition is seeing clearly. And it's also asking the right questions and being still enough to answer, still enough to hear the answer. So a lot of times things just happen if you allow them. We get in our own way, especially as entrepreneurs. A lot of times we get in our own way. It's like it's supposed to happen this way. But maybe all you need to do is focus on how you want the outcome to happen and then let the universe come into play and see what magical things happen. So you mentioned that I just found watercolor painting in January. So in December, my husband and I were going to breakfast at the original Pancake House over here, and with friends. We were meeting friends. So we met our friends. It's a 4-top, and we're right by the door. And on the way there in the car, I was driving, I said, I need something fun that I don't make money at. And that's what I said to the universe. And I have been feeling like there's something missing for a while. Like something's missing. I love my business. My business is going great. My coaching business, my reading business. I do private parties. So it's all going good. But I was like, I'm missing something fun. Something like to bring me that wonder and awe. So go to breakfast and they're setting up for a table of 20. And we're like, we better order soon or else we're not going to get our order in. So who comes in but a friend of my husband's, and she is a mile high practitioner and he knows her. And she is a watercolor artist, painter, teacher, and she had 20 of her students there for a Christmas party.
Oh,
So
wow.
I hit it off with her right away. Same energy as mine. Very like amazing woman. And she said, my classes start up in January. So I said, I'm in your class. So I went to the first class and it was amazing. I blew myself out of the water. I was like, this is it. This is it. So all I did is say to the universe a very general question. I need something fun that I don't make money at. And meanwhile, every time I leave class, she's always saying, you could sell that. And now I have 5 commissions. It's just happening. Like, so I'm not attached to making money at it.
So now you need something else fun that you don't
I'm not
make
attached
money
to
at.
making money at it, but the money's just coming because that's abundance. Part of the energy of an energy is money. So it's just how we show value. So it's been an amazing ride.
That's awesome. Okay, so one of my questions is, because love is blind, and I imagine we all do that we have an idea for something we want to do. We want to write a book, we want to start a business, something that we love, but we're kind of blind to how it should be unfolding. So what do you recommend when someone is like so gung-ho and they're so passionate and they're so in love with something they want to be creating that they're actually blind to the reality around them?
So let's just take like writing a book. A lot of us are authors and a lot of us are writing books. And so, but what happens is, are you having any fun? Again, it's like, really, they just need to call me. They just need to call me and I can see where you're stuck, where you're trapped. Because it's all about like, how do you feel about this? And a lot of people do. Authors call me and say, why am I stuck? Why can't I get over this? What's happening? I can get right into that, like, and it'll make sense to you. So usually, like, even when I do parties, I just did a house party and 20 women, and everything I told them, they already kind of sensed, or they said, we were just talking about that yesterday. Or, and it's like, and that's how you know whether you're on the right path or not. It's like, if I can feel that vibration and pick that up, that you're creating this, you're creating it. And then it shows you, like, this is the path. I can tell you which path you're going down. A lot of times people need help, like, just giving up the control. Like, what if you have the book and you need a ghostwriter, or you really need to like have somebody else publish it, because we can self-publish it, but should we? Is it part of what we do?
It's interesting. Gabby Bernstein, calls it driftwood. Like, I have my props. That when you're thinking about something and it appears, or you want to do something and then you find somebody else doing it. And sometimes we feel competitive, like, oh my God, she's doing what I was planning on doing or wanted to do. But really, it's just the universe going, no, you're on the right track. Look, people are doing it. You're on the right track. So I love that idea. I feel like we need to put Steve on the spot. So I feel like we could do a reading for Steve.
Before we do, though, my old business partner used to talk about this on a much more practical nature. He used to call it synchronicity. He used to just say, so often that whether it's the impetus of world events or the age demographic of people you hang out with, who all have similar. We hang out with people who are so similar to us in our geographical area that we worked with or we went to school with. That generates that sort of synchronicity, and it feels very validating when somebody else is on the same path as you, and then you can bring a different angle, you can bring a different perspective to it. So you're gonna put Steve on the spot. Let's do that.
Yes. So
Steve's not really excited about this, by the way.
Okay, yeah. Are you like ready to put out to the world your whole, like, all your dirty laundry?
Vivica knows I don't have too many secrets.
Okay. So would you like a general reading first, or do you want to go into a question? If you have a question about your future?
This is your party.
Okay, I'm going to give you a general reading just to see what's going on right now and into the near future.
Fair.
Okay. Just be open-minded. That's all I ask.
I will be.
So it's fun. So the first card that comes up is
Oh, you're
oppression.
using cards. Oh no.
Yes.
Because those things have things that people die in.
No.
Okay. I just remember James Bond. There was the death
Yes.
card. It was terrifying.
Yes, and that's meant to be terrifying, but it's not about death. So the death
Good.
card, in a true tarot card deck, in a tarot deck, 78 cards. And there's positive cards and negative cards, and there's good cards and bad cards, and there is a death card. And the death card does not mean physical death. It would have to come up with a lot of other cards, which very rarely comes up.
Okay.
And if it did come up, whatever we were talking about, if it was another person or yourself, you would already know or sense it. I've learned that.
Okay. We
From
should have
doing
told
it.
that to Roger Moore and Live and Let Die, because it was
Yes.
terrifying.
Yeah. Well, it's Hollywood and they make it seem that way.
Okay.
It's
I
like, you know,
apologize. I apologize for making light and derailing us. So
no, and
let's
I love that.
continue.
I love that. So this is a card, and it's called. My cards have a specific keyword on them. So if you are skeptical, you can actually go to the keyword. This says oppression. So are you feeling stuck or trapped in a way at this time with your business? With your, it feels like
Yeah,
it's your business.
there's an area of my life that I'm stuck in. Yes.
Okay. Well, there's going to be a sudden change in plans because you got the lightning struck tower also, which usually in like the Roger Moore deck, the Rider-Waite deck has people falling off out of the tower. Not a pretty scene, right? But lightning struck tower, it means just sudden change in plans. Just like by accident, something happens. And what happens for you is the next card is the Lover's card, which means choices. It's not about lovers, it's about choices. So you will...
Shan's
you will
okay.
Choices.
Yeah, and usually I don't go through all the cards unless you ask or there's something important, but I'm just going to go through them because you're skeptical. So what it brings up is there's choices, and then the Eon is expansion of your world. So you may be feeling stuck or trapped right now, but there's going to be a sudden change in plans that will bring you more choices, and then you'll have more of an expansion of your world, and a gain on all levels too. So this is money, but on all levels. Okay, so there's 4 suits, just like
Money on all levels. Just a minute. Vivica gave me a big thumbs up. Money on all levels can mean riches, but it could also mean debt.
No. You heard that. See how you heard that is money on all levels.
That's
I
interesting.
said gain on all levels.
Gain. Okay.
Not just money.
I didn't read the word gain. I just heard the word money.
Yes.
Okay.
So gain on all levels, which is
Okay, we can do thumbs up.
yes, money, but on all levels, because abundance comes on all levels. We don't want just money. We want abundance. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
We do.
I'm a very positive person. You gotta know I'm a very positive person. So even if you did get the death card, I could change that to what, I'll make the death good because there is really no death because you can't destroy energy and we are energy.
Okay.
So we go on. Anyway, and now you just got the death card. Look at that. See, scary death card. Of course I pulled that. So that means ripping away the past to begin anew. And then at that time, you will step back, look at the big picture, find out what you really want, and what will bring you a peace of mind. So you have these great things coming up here. And when I pull 4 cards, it's like what's happening right now or just about to be. So you're going to have this sudden change where you're going to have choices, and it's going to bring a gain on all levels, and it's going to rip away the past to begin anew for you and bring you a peace of mind.
I like that.
Yeah.
I can accept that. I'm
Okay.
dealing with change much better at this particular stage in life, so I can. It's not a terrifying prospect.
Yes, that's great. Yeah, and change is good. One thing we can be sure of is change.
I'm curious if your you call them clients, if the people who you're doing reads for, with
Clients,
the very
yes.
first card, we kind of locked into railroad tracks on the first thing that I thought about, which was the trapped. Like, what area of my life do I feel trapped in?
Yes.
And as soon as that happened, I got into the railroad tracks on the area of my life that I feel trapped in. Now,
Yes.
which caused me to, with each successive one, it was solutions or augmentation to that particular issue.
Correct.
Is that normal?
Yes.
Okay.
Did it feel right? Did it feel like that was
Well,
what I was talking about?
I like the news that
Yes.
there was going to be some breakthrough as far as the area that I feel trapped. And it's not a relationship area. Well, we don't have to worry about Shan and I or
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's hard when everybody else is listening, when the world is listening. So
no,
I know.
right
And
now
they
it's a
already
real
know our
estate situation.
relationships.
We've got a situation where we want to move, but we don't really have the option right now.
you
we're
will
trapped.
have that
We're trapped
option.
in just because of the situation in the economy and all those sorts of things right now. It's just like now's not a good time. And
Yes.
we'd really like to, but it's not a good time.
So I was just about to ask you if you were going to move, because right before you started talking, I drew 2 more cards. And the card of the Chariot is the change card, and it makes things happen faster.
Okay.
And it's travel. So are you thinking about moving somewhere else or just a move?
I don't want to move somewhere else. My wife
Okay.
might want to, so that's an issue.
Okay.
We can work through that later.
Yes. So
No,
so
but
what
we
I
won't
do
be
now.
moving far. No.
So what I do now is you can ask a specific question. The more specific the question you ask, the more specific the answer will be. So do you have a specific question about that real estate? Because you're going to have a peace of mind, and it's going to mean ripping away the past to be in a new, because there's a gain on all levels. So those are great things. And it says that this is going to happen within this year. Like by the end of this year, this is happening.
That's a reasonable time frame. I mean, that would be like in my goals. I would like to have things resolved to the point that we could legitimately do that.
Yes.
No, I don't really have any questions about it. Is that unusual?
No.
Because
No, but if you did have,
I'm okay with it being.
Yeah, you
either
don't want
way.
any whammies, right?
If we're still here, I've still got a wonderful wife. We live in a wonderful place.
It's great.
I've got, I'm happy and I'm content. So I don't
Yes.
want to, it's not like it's very practical considerations why we want to move.
Yes.
So it's not, so yes, Gilly, my pup goes, move? I want a bigger yard.
Yes. we just moved last year for our puppy so he could have a big yard, and unbeknownst to us, he likes to be on the leash. So that was a bad move. No, it was a good move, but it was just interesting how we really did want a place with a yard, and that's what we had. And he's never been off the leash, but now he's better, but it took him a year.
I didn't know there were bondage dogs. It's interesting.
No. Well, he was 9 years old when he came to us, and he was always on the leash. So,
that was his comfort zone.
Yes.
No, is it unusual that I don't have any questions? I'm interested to see what happens. What kind of, and I will tell Vivica. Vivica will know if you are right, and then she will give me much gears.
Yes.
If you are.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yes. And I'm not attached to being right. This is just helping
I'm
you
attached to
see.
you being right now.
I know. So now you can manifest that. You will manifest that. So this is the thing. You got to be careful who you go to. What if I said you're going to die in 2 weeks? If you believe me, you can actually cause that to happen.
Sure.
So you got to be careful. And some of these people just, for fun and games, and they're not really they didn't hone their skill. I mean, I've been doing this a long time. I've learned so much along the way. I learned that I was at MGM Grand in Las Vegas. I was there for 2 years out in their theme park, and I would read for all the people that came in, because you get in and you get a free reading. And there was this guy with a 7-year-old son, and his cards just kept on saying he's going to jail, and I'm sweating bullets over here, like thinking, how can I tell him this in front of his son? So I kept on drawing more cards, kept on trying to figure it out. It kept on coming up. He's going to jail. So finally, I'm exhausted. I'm just like, what does jail mean to you? And he goes, oh, I'm probably going. So I learned right then that I can't hold back. If it comes up and it's like in spades, like this is what's happening, I have to tell you, let you know, even if it might be what I consider negative.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it's just from doing it. When I teach classes in Tarot, I have them learning and reading for other people that they don't know in the second class, because if you can't do it for yourself, it's so hard to read for yourself because you're emotionally attached to your outcome. The stuck and trapped card is just feeling a little stuck and trapped. The cards around it are good, so it's not really bad, but you're just stuck and trapped because you're in it. Like, you can't see how this is going to play out.
Yeah.
But you'll see that there's going to be a sudden change in plans that'll change all that.
You've been talking about it's when opportunities come along is being in a position to seize it. And you, in the story that you told about watercolors, is exactly kind of what I see happening so often in my life, but not. I don't see it from a spiritual or a woo perspective. I look at it from an imagination perspective. As I spend a lot of time daydreaming. I do long drives to our family cabin, and I just let my mind go. It's like in the shower, and ideas come up, and also fantasies come up of things that are practical that I would like to do with things that are real in my life, and imagination things of things that are not. Like, I am never going to be a pro hockey player. Too bad. But if I was, gosh, I would have been awesome. So you know, and I'm mature enough to recognize the difference. There you go. Oh, good. Colorado, the Avs, they're a pretty darn good team.
I just have to show you this because this isn't something that so for some reason, Vivica told me that you were skeptical. And so these are things that just happened. We have like many glasses, but I chose this glass this morning, and I looked at it and I said, somehow I'm going to bring hockey into this. You brought the hockey. See, I knew. It's so just like it's like amazing because I'm not a big hockey fan. I like the Bruins actually because I'm from Boston. Sorry. Oh, there you go. The death card. You're out of here.
Never told me that. It was one of the hard and fast rules of this podcast. No Bruins fans.
Okay. But see how that works? Look at how that worked. Normally I have a Wizard of Oz cup. I mean, you know, it's like, okay, I just want to tell you, imagination is intuition and fantasy. This is all spiritual,
but then
all together.
Being open enough to recognize the opportunities and how they dovetail.
Yes.
And that's what causes. So when you saw the opportunity to do this class, because you were looking for something, you knew immediately what it took to embrace it. And because you'd already accepted or you'd already yearned for the opportunity to do something, you jumped in with both feet, which speaks to the success that you've had. I mean, obviously you've got some talent, but it's also the investment that you put in it that made it there. And because the soil was prepared beforehand, because you were already looking for that.
Well, I was looking for something open at the top.
Yeah.
Like grounded and open at the top. That's what I like to tell people, especially when they're talking about intuition. Like, just be open at the top. You can ask for the things from the universe, but be open. Who knew it? Could have been something else. But for some reason, watercolor, and I hear all the time, watercolor is the hardest medium. I'm like, not for me. It's like, it has to be a past life because I'm amazed. I'm amazed
really
at what's happening.
Really
all those are my paintings. So it's like, you know, it just happens. I allow it to happen. I'm still in awe, and I love that about wonder and awe, especially at this age. As we get older, I'm turning 65 in August, so it's like, you know, Medicare and everything, and I've got this wonder and awe back in my life, which we all need. And as entrepreneurs, we get, you know, when we're starting something new, when we're starting a new business, we get that wonder and awe. But a lot of people get stuck in that imagination. I can help with that. Like, that's imagination. This is reality. I love living in the physical world. I'm spiritual, but I don't live out here all the time, most of the time. But I'm here. I can feel everything that's going on. Like, how did I know to have this here? And I'll tell you, the reason I have this here is because I use it for tuning forks. So I use tuning forks to help me get into balance, and it's sound healing. It's a big thing now. But a hockey puck makes a great, like,
the vulcanized rubber is perfect for hitting a tuning fork against.
Yes, hitting the tuning fork
gets the fork vibrating.
Yeah. And you know what?
Everybody should have a puck.
I got this. I went to an Avalanche game because friends had offered us tickets. Yes,
Avalanche.
And they had these champion ones. This is last year for $1. So I bought 20 of them, and gave them to friends, and I said, use them for your tuning forks. You know, they're not hockey people. So anyway,
I just not to get us off hockey, but one of the things you mentioned earlier is it's easier to test your intuition with other people. And I would just emphasize that because as I started to tune into myself better and doing my coaching with my clients, like I'd have an impulse and intuition, a thought that would come through. And for a while I was like, well, that's weird. I'm not going to mention that because that's just weird. But then I was like, okay, no, like the jail thing, right? It comes back and comes back. And then it almost becomes an imperative. So I'd ask the client, like, so, what does this mean to you? What does, jelly mean to you? And I'm not an advertised intuitive. That's not what I advertise in my coaching and consulting. But every single time I would come out with, what does this mean to you? It would be something and would take us in a direction that we needed to go to. So I would say to anyone listening, especially if you're a coach or a consultant, if you have that intuition or that imperative that comes through you, don't tamp it down, especially when you're working with another person. Like, ask them in whatever way you want to, does this make any sense to you? Or I just had a thought, does that make any sense to you? And I'm telling you right now, the more you do that and the more you get the confirmation that yes, it does mean something, and yes, there was a reason for it, you'll begin to trust your intuition more.
And that is so great that you just brought up, because we use it all the time. People use it all the time in corporate America, everywhere. Anybody that's successful uses it. It's just that they might call it something else, or they just don't even realize that they're doing it. So, Steve, I have to ask this because it's right here in my face. The doodle picture behind you.
Yeah. What's
the story behind that dog?
Oh, that's Farley. That's about when I stopped doing my TV show and started working on my own. I was in a fairly new relationship with my current wife, my wife, not my ex-wife. But Shannon, she thinks a house is not a home without a dog. So we got Farley, and he was a reject that we got, and he was. So he consequently for 12 years he sat at my feet every day, and he was the constant in our life. And so Farley, that's actually a Lego thing. One of those. My daughter got that for us for Christmas. It's all the single peg Lego things that she sent a picture of it in, and we made it up. And it's all done with pixels. It's like
great.
Pointillism. Yeah, and it's so that's Farley. But Farley would be always. He was. I've been doing webinars for years. And through this whole time, I was doing many webinars, and Farley would sit in the back, and he was a constant, and all of our audience knew Farley well because he would often be doing completely inappropriate things, licking himself in places we wish we could, and he would be doing that in the middle of my webinars, and I'd be going along teaching something, and all of a sudden I'd see the chat light up with, oh my God, Farley, and I'd turn around there, he would be going deep, or something, or insisting, or he was a real. He had quite a personality. So, yeah, and he's nice.
Well, that picture, that Lego captures his energy.
Yeah.
Yes, it's wonderful.
Yeah, his nickname from Shannon was Asshole. So
nice.
Shannon wanted to have more children, and I'm past that in my life. And so we got her a cat that comes with her. And we often say that she got the cat she needed, and I got the dog I deserved.
Yeah.
So
I think you need a reading about your relationship myself. But that's for private reading.
Anybody that's met Shannon, I realize it's a mystery. I think I have definitely outpunted my coverage as Vivica can ascertain.
That's wonderful. Keeps you on your toes. That's good.
Yeah, I'm glad, and it was so fun. And like, this is why the recording didn't work the first 3 times, because it's just I was I think telling you, Rick, that, I'm just such a big fan and you've helped me so much, but I'm guessing there's 1 or 2 skeptics in our audience. So I think it's good that we had Steve here today to ask the questions from the skeptical side.
I thought I was just going to sit quietly. So
no. I love skeptics. I'm good with skeptics. I love that. Like I said, it's healthy.
Hello.
And you're open. You're a skeptic, but you're open.
Yeah. Well,
yes.
I certainly. I mean, I've been around long enough that I know that I don't know.
Yes.
I don't know.
And that's why I love doing this, because I have had many careers and successful careers, and this has always been like who I am, because I'll never know everything about it. I'm in awe of it also. It's like I get in awe, like when I touch upon something that's really serious, and or I help somebody and they say how much they helped me. It's like I'm in awe of that too. I love that. You know, I love learning. So, and we're always learning, you know.
Well, it's been a pleasure.
Thank you.